And here we go. Thank you again for joining us on a fantastic, whatever night it is. I don't know what night we're going to put this out live yet. So it's Friday. Yeah, it's Friday for us here at the minute, but I don't know what time it's going to go live. So we've got a fantastic treat for you tonight, because normally I get guys from the intelligence community, CIA, KGB, FBI, and I don't normally go too much into the private sector. But a personal friend of mine tonight, Chris from UCP, is joining us, and he's going to tell us all the things that you really want to know about bodyguards and close protection. Chris, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Gavin. It's a pleasure to be on it.
Oh, no problem at all. So I'm going to kick off with probably going down the route of everybody's got this image of what's generally called bodyguards in the black suit, the black tie, and a pair of Ray-Bans just walking around looking important. And there's a little bit more to it than that, isn't there?
There is. I mean, that's a funeral session, but we're talking about an updated bodyguard. We are there. Whatever attire we wear is determined by, obviously, the planning and preparation. So, of course, it could be white suits and white ties. And I promise you, we've had that before. You go to Wimbledon, they will ask you to wear a white suit and a white tie. One year they did, and my guys went, "You're kidding me." And it's what the client wants. So if the client wants you to wear a clown uniform, 750 quid a day, are you going to wear it? I wouldn't.
I'm just thinking for 750 a day now, probably not, but we can negotiate.
I could probably go clown, but yeah, I mean, you are right. We do have to wear what we're told, but the modern day professional, seasoned close protection officer, you'll probably find him in a pair of jeans and a blazer.
Yeah. Actually, that brings me to, I'm sure it was yours with a few years ago, and we had that guy coming on. I was in your office. I'm like, stop me if I'm wrong here, but he came into saying, "I've worked with this celebrity, I've worked with that celebrity, and blah, 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 and whatever else." And he mentioned a particular celebrity, and he's left his resume, and he said, give me a call. I know you're going to call me. And about 5 minutes after he left the room, the one particular, and I'm not going to say names, obviously, for security reasons, but the one particular celebrity that he said they were like best pals, Chris picked his phone up, rang the celebrity and said, "Do you know this fellow?" The celebrity said, "No, I never heard of him."
Yeah. Of course, I've been in it 35 years, Gavin, as you know, and I'm a year off of 60, I hasten to say, but we was always the forerunners in close protection training way before the SIA 2000. Way before that. And when you look at these people who's done this, it's a bit like the Iranian embassy. Everybody was the team leader. But we know Rusty was, come on.
Yeah.
Look, we have this in our industry as well. Unfortunately, everybody's looked after. I feel sorry for someone like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Al Pacino. To me, I've just come back from Hollywood, by the way, yesterday. Mm-hmm. My office is in Beverly Hills, in California, and I can tell you now that there's no English person that I know looks after Arnie and all that out there. They might come over after by some security guards that are more like security guards. Woman. And then, of course, they've now looked after them because they've seen them. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Same with Frank Sinatra before his death. Everybody looked after Frank. But really, he died before he was born. So I spoke to someone once. I was born in 1965, and that was the first year of the Vietnam War, as you know, yeah? Mm. So, there's no way I could be in the Vietnam War unless I was a child of less than age. So, but I know people my age that have actually said, I spent 6 months at the tail end of the Vietnam War. I went, no, you didn't. So people watch films. Some people, it's a disorder, but it doesn't make them a bad person. It just makes them full of dreams. Now, some people's dreams are looking after the people you want to look after. And I say that in my opening of any course I do, I go around the table and I said, "Who do you want to look after?" Obviously, who's alive. So yeah, you know, that's where I want to get all my learners to that point where that's the person you chose. Now let's have a look how that person likes to be looked after, and let's see if you can get to that point. Okay,
Yeah.
point becomes a selling point. You sell yourself. Yeah,
Mhm.
you're an author. You can write books all day long, but if you don't sell a book, you're just an author that never sold a book. You know that nearly the easiest part of writing a book is writing a book.
Yeah, yeah. The
Hardest
marketing's the
part,
hard part.
million. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the easiest part is me training you to be the best in the world of close protection. The hardest part is you now going out and getting that work.
Exactly. And I know that, I mean, from your position, you're in an absolutely wonderful position, because you've not only got UCP globally operating all around the world with all manner of people, high net worth individuals and celebrities and all and the likes, but because you've got the training company as well, you've kind of got the pick of the litter, so you know you can pick the best of the best, you know, to employ and put into these positions, you know, within your company, which is absolutely great. On the other side of this, I did see a thing not so long back, and I can't even remember where I saw it, and it said, "We can get you your SIA training license, you know, all approved, blah blah blah." And it was something like £599 or something like that. And I thought, oh dear, I really feel for anybody that is going into this industry and think they're going to be able to get their SIA. They'll probably be able to get their license. But the training that they're going to get and what they're going to receive, and any kind of chance of work after it, if you took a course, a 500 quid course, then I think it's going to be pretty slim.
Yeah, there's 3 different courses to get your license anyway. Of course, you've got the security guard, which is fine, and you've got your doorman or door supervisor license, you've got your close protection, and you've got back end security as well. So you've got office security. But if you 3 main ones, yeah, you can spend £500 and you can work on a door, no problem at all. You get that money back within a week. And you're just on that door. Some people love it, but it's not. It's only a stepping stone to close protection.
Yeah.
Really, as I would say, a job. It is if you're in charge and you've got several venues and you're the team leader and you go around. But on a, you know, if that's your venue, you can be in that venue for 20 years and have a really good life in that venue. But really, we still say it's a stepping stone to the big world of close protection, and it does make a different type of mentality to be a doorman or a close protection operative. And I think I'm hoping that at some stage in this event that we can discuss what the SIA have done, brought your supervisor into the close protection industry. And you know, I'm with seasoned guys. I'm with guys who've been doing this since the SIA started, and you know, we've got to now do a 5-day physical intervention, basically a door supervisor course, just in case they take a VIP inside a venue. And the biggest question I get with really good guys, or you know, all 30, 40, 50-year-olds been in it all day, they're going, but I would just call this venue security, Chris. And I went, yeah, that's what you do. You call the venue. You don't help people up the stairs because they're drunk. I mean, even if it's your own VIP, you don't let them get to that stage anyway.
Exactly.
Invented the top up. Didn't know our industry really, but as for another day. But I mean, you know, and I hope there is. But yeah, or if anybody wants to phone in and ask me about this, because I've delivered probably 20 courses of top up since April 2022. In fact, I think I was one to actually deliver a top up course in May 2022. And yeah, I can honestly say it's very unenjoyable.
Oh, I mean, I've done your training courses myself, so I know the quality, and it's been like years and years since I've either worked for you or done any training for you or anything like that. But I imagine the industry has probably changed exponentially since probably in the last 5 to 10 years, you know. So, I mean, tell us about some of the changes and kind of what sets your training apart from some of the other competitors out there.
It's number one, it's all about knowledge and the real world out there. I spent a lot of time making sure that I gain the best. I listen, I have my ears, And if something is better for me from even an 18-year-old doing something that I like, I will implement that into my training. So my ears and eyes are always open to see if something's a better way to do it. It's very rare, I'll give you that, because I did start my courses. I started, my partner in business for 10 years was SAS, trained, and of course RMP as well. So I had the best of the UK special forces and obviously the protection team to go. And I had beside me to help me. And this is in my early days of instructing. And I used to look at them and I think, man, they are good. These guys are really good. But they was only good then. And we had to then change, you know, standing by the car. Now we stand away from the car because we've learned that people can come up to the car and it's too late. So, you know, we designed it like a sculpture. If you can imagine a sculpture, and every day we sand a little bit and shine a little bit. That sculpture probably never ever be finished.
Yeah.
The protection industry, you can stand back and say, that's good enough, get it on the pedestal. Drones are coming into it now, you know, technical surveillance, well, you should know that. But technical surveillance, it is now into it, you know. You've seen the drones flying around in Gaza, they're going in the houses, and of course using them as firearms as well. But mainly technical surveillance is coming in, something that we didn't really go into much years ago. And all sorts of different threats, you know, different threats from the iPhone camera that can, you know, someone can stand 100 meters away and still pick up the hair on your head. So these things now, and everybody's got cameras.
Yeah, which makes you know, kind of your life really difficult because you've only got to get seen doing the wrong thing once, and you know, it can be, you know, dramatically affecting of your career. So with that in mind, I mean, I know that you take on a lot of the military guys because you do the, is it the LCAS? Is that what it's called?
Earning credit 5011. And of course, you know, we try to get the guys from transitioning from military to private in both executive and hostile.
So,
soon surveillance, we're going to add a few on surveillance as well. So I think that's uncovered or untapped world at the moment. Everybody either chooses hostile or, you know, close protection. But I think surveillance is a big one. There's a lot of money in surveillance, working for companies, working for councils, and even the government. There's a lot of money in that. So that's another portal we're looking at this year as well, getting a
brilliant. Well, there's a couple of lads I know who are leaving MI5 in the next year. One this year and one next year. I'll send them over to you if you know, they might be able to give you some advice with like kind of, you know, what 5 do for their training and that kind of thing.
Even that changed, Gavin. You know, the follows changed now. Used to be end. Now it's following across the road. Now there's loads of things changed, but nothing was ever wrong. Nothing was ever wrong. We've just made it a little bit right to nowadays, because everybody's more situation aware now. So years ago, you know, you take the 70s and 80s, you know, even someone done something wrong didn't really care. But now you've only got to not pay your tax, and it's like you're looking that way and that way. Well, we're not behind you now.
Yeah. Well, of course, as times change and technology change, like you say, the threats change. So therefore, the training and the job has to change. So, what do you find is like the biggest misconception when you've got civilians coming? Because you do training for civilians as well, don't you? So, what do you find is their biggest thing when they come in and they go, oh, I didn't expect that, or you know, things weren't quite what they expected, or what do you think their biggest expectations are if they're just coming off the street to you for training?
Yeah, it's a fantastic one, because I don't know if you remember me. I'm intelligence like you, so background of training someone to not only be situation and surveillance aware, but also to understand what a threat and risk is, and to sit down. Now, people don't realise when they sign up on the course, they're going to start having to use technology, being Word or venues up, getting apps to do 3D venues, doing route plans and looking at hostile surveillance locations and choke points and observation points. People didn't realise that. That wasn't in their mind. They was thinking be a bit of gum, some shade, pink up in front, and walking behind. That's VIP. Probably not even realising what his job is doing. I mean, course like that for 5 days, and I know some companies do this for 5
Sorry, I thought you were going to say something else then.
Cost of $2,000 or €2,000. You can go on a 5-day bodyguard course, and you will never even need to open your laptop. You would never need to do a PowerPoint presentation. You would never even need to know the difference between a threat and a risk. And unfortunately, I've had people do that, come on my course, and I say, right, you've done that. You've done a close protection course, didn't you? And I went, yeah, I won't tell you where. And I went, right, can you then tell the other guys, give me a definition of threat? Ooh, it's something that, no, they don't get it right. Give me a definition of risk. No, okay. So threat, risk, severity, vulnerability. They don't get this word. So they come on the course and they're working till 3 a.m. on a table with the guys, bit of music on, putting the plans together, and it's a whole new world.
Yeah,
whole new world. They didn't realise how complicated even the walking was. The foot.
Oh yeah.
We call them foot skills, don't we now? Because
well, I remember doing it when I was doing it with you, and we did that. I think it was like the box formation, and we were the very first time we were doing the training, and you said first you're going to learn to do it without radios, because if you learn to do it with radios first, then you start using them as a crutch, and then when you do it without radios after you've done it with radios, it's 10 times harder. So you do it without first, then when you're good at that and proficient at that, then you go on to doing it with radios and see how much easier it is.
Because God give us these little things in our head, they're called eyes, and they move around. They're incredible, really, aren't they?
Yeah.
You know, they move there. People don't realise that when you move your head like that, you've got another 10 degrees more just with the eyeballs. So with intelligence, MI6, MI5, you know, you want to be seeing something but not looking at it. And that is what we try to teach them on the basic foot drills is you don't need the radios until you need the radios, and you're not going to have the radios until I know that you can feel where the VIP's walking. You can feel your team. I mean, Gary Lineker and Beardsley, they never had a radio, did they?
No.
That was brilliant. One would run down there, one would flip it over. Lineker would get in the back of the goal, and because they felt each other, they knew. Yeah. They planned it already. They knew what they was going to do. Bang, bang, bang. Thank you very much. 1-0 to England. That's how we like to do it. And now the radios are complementary. And if they do go down, you still got half of your sixth sense.
Yeah, exactly. And that's it, because, you know, as we both know, you can be in the field and what's worked all day long, as soon as you're 5 minutes into the job, clunk, click, bang, and it's not working or whatever, and you do a radio check and nothing's happening. We've been there and done it. I mean, apart from like the actual mission planning and the planning side of it, which a lot of people, like you say, they don't realize how much goes into just planning one event, one trip, you know, that kind of thing. You've also got the fact that the principal themselves can end up being an absolute nightmare. And I'm sure you've had kind of nightmare customers in the past where they've thrown in curveballs or all manner of things. Is there anyone that comes to mind that you can think of to tell us about?
Yeah, of course. I mean, when you're talking about rock stars, which I've protected over the last 20 years, some of them are not with us anymore, unfortunately. But yeah, and film producers, when they come down from up north, they get the train down, the protection units at King's Cross International Station, and we say to them, right, you got your film premiere in the West End, at one of the big clubs there, and take me straight to the hotel. Okay, we take them to the hotel. Film premiere is on at 8 o'clock in the evening, 2000 hours. It's 19:30 now. Sir, are we ready? No. I can't really expose what's happening by that door, but there's no one coming out for 2 days.
Wow.
You know, is it when you then get the radio, where is the client? He's late for his own, and I'm thinking he's not only late, he ain't going to turn up. Yeah, I mean, you have these things where you just cannot control the clients. We've had clients, daughters of celebrities, again, sad cases because they're not here anymore, even the daughter, bless her. But, you know, they come from Faversham, and they even get out the toilet window, which is smaller than their head. So I don't know how. And you look in the toilet and oh my God, she's gone. So like to get away from us with their addictions or whatever they got, or just playing. It's very difficult. And that's just the fun side. I mean, you got then a darker side of protection operative, because you're going to be on the front line of anything that goes wrong. You can imagine if you're paid by a very wealthy billionaire. The billion is 1,000 million. You know, I don't know. Multi-billionaire. You got unlimited resources to just go, and it's gone. And if you do anything wrong as a close civilian, and you've got to go up to whoever you're working for and say you've lost something, anything can happen to you. Anything. If you're in a different country, I mean, like South America or Eastern Europe, anything can happen. I'll do a lot of work in Mexico and Ecuador, and you know, you could just be gone.
Yeah. That's the hardest part of it, you know, is understanding that the blame ends with you, because when you do have literally everything at your disposal, you've only got to say we need A, and you'll get it. Then the only thing to blame is not the lack of funds, not the lack of resources, the person who's in control of it.
Yeah, well, you know, like you're saying to, you know, a wealthy, you don't get wealthy unless you trodden on people. That's always one of my clients said this. You do not get wealthy unless you trodden on the people. And even the nicest, wealthiest people must have done something to climb to that. And I'm on about multi-billionaire.
Yeah.
And yeah, I would honestly say that if you're faced with telling that VIP, we call them, client, that their daughter was in the back of the car, now they're not. A little bit of trouble. Maybe it's better to just get a flight back home.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So, I mean, and again, you know, for a lot of people who don't understand that close protection, the industry itself is not just red carpet stuff. I mean, there's so much from hostile environment, maritime security. You know, you've got things where you could be taking kind of, it's such a diverse industry, because you could be out in the Middle East looking after film crews for TV companies or oil companies or whatever one day, doing red carpet stuff the next. There's so much more to it than just, you know, like we said at the beginning, just putting on a suit and trying to look like you're important. You know, what a kind of because I know that your training that you do not just like the foot drills, but also the kind of firearms and that kind of thing. There's a lot of people who don't understand how you're able to do that, because obviously we're in the UK. Can you tell us a bit about how you operate and do that?
Yeah, of course, absolutely. We have ranges all over the world, number one, but some people don't want to come out to take an LCAS hostile course. They are not allowed to participate outside of the UK, or they didn't used to be. I'm sure they don't now. So they're not allowed to spend the government money by going to, say, Poland or Serbia or because obviously the funding comes from the government, the MOD. So when we're training a hostile firearms and tactics course, we use our ranges in Sittingbourne, and we got Bisley, and we got the tunnel down in Dorchester.
Oh yeah, down by me, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So we have got facilities here. The only thing we can't shoot is a 9mm live fire Glock or pistol, whatever you want to call it. What we have got is blank firing, simunition firing, some So I hate to say it because I remember getting into an argument a long time ago by saying if it's not the right caliber, and that's with an SBS guy down in Portsmouth, and I said to him that, you know, if it's not the right caliber, I only said it because I had the ranges in Alderney. Do you remember Alderney?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
So I was the only one in the whole of Great Britain, them days, to train ex-military and private with handguns, because Alderney come under the guise of the MOD, so it was under, but it was under French, and it had its own law with handguns. It was in the whole of Great Britain. Incredible, really. I didn't realise I was actually sitting on a diamond. But that's me. But for 2 years, we trained hundreds coming out to Alderney on the CZs, the Glocks, the SIGs, the Brownings. Oh, it was the most delightful pistol shooting in the old Fort Albert interior of the fort. Fantastic. But when I lost that, so at that time, I used to say, if you're not firing a proper caliber, what is the point? So ones in the UK mainland, they would have like airsoft. So they didn't have any choice. .22 on a like that. Kind of like, I was against them, but I'm going to be honest, I've changed my mind a little bit. Now I have got firing ranges, don't get me wrong, and it actually fires 5.56, but we can't fire 9mm here. So you have to go to the next best thing. I'm not apologising for the arguments I had with them. I'm just saying at that time, I did hold the crown jewels. Now, I don't in the UK, and anybody who wants to come and do firearms training in the UK, it's going to be more on a tactical side. It's going to be more on the, obviously, the simunition side for the handgun. And for the M4 or the AK, you're talking either single shot or .2 rimfire on a semi-automatic. It doesn't give you the recoil, but it gives you enough. It gives you enough. Yeah. Not right. It gives you enough. UK. But listen, I've got a range in Rome, and it's like $150 return flight. I've got ranges in Cambodia. So anybody who trains in Asia with us in Bangkok comes to Cambodia. And I've got ranges where I live in California. So really want the real caliber, jump on a plane.
That's it, simple as that. So with the simunition, because that wasn't legal here for a while. I think the MOD changed something so it could be used, because they had like the barrel was like that, and they had an offset barrel, didn't it? So you couldn't use normal 9mm ammunition in it. But you could use the simunition in it. So is that completely legal over here now in the UK, or have they changed something?
No, it's not. You've got to have the add-on that obviously elongates the pistol, so you can't use the holster anymore. So you can fire a pistol, but it's that long, and it looks like the French Revolution. I remember years ago in the 70s, you had a thing called Action Man, and you had a French resistance guy, and he had a little briefcase, and in that briefcase you had to put this little weapon together. It had the barrel that you screwed on, little arm, and it went onto a pistol. That is basically what that is. Reference to a pistol at all. You can't do covert carry. You can't, and this is the whole point, by the way. You can't carry a weapon in the UK, thanks to Dunblane. And them hideous things that they did up there. A little bit harsh on the general public, because they could have just said no one can have a gun unless it's actually in the range. So again, I love being British, but the British government rules sometimes are not really thought out, because all they had to say is nobody is allowed to take a weapon from a range. So if you a range tomorrow, they will give you 100 rounds and they will give you a Glock, and you can shoot. That would then be brilliant business for the British government, because they would capture all of that tax, all of that income, where everybody flies over to Eastern Europe and does their trainings there.
Yeah.
that money when you don't. You just keep the in a locked arsenal and in the range. Then you've got it. I just don't understand sometimes the choices that are made through the British. But
yeah, you and me both. People have said to me, "Why don't you trust the government?" I said, "Because I've worked for them." Yeah. So yeah, I mean, and it really is. It's kind of, there are a lot of laws that don't make any sense. I mean, not just firearms laws, but just laws in general in the UK. And like you say, they are missing out on so much revenue, and the industry itself is missing out on so much in the way of what they're able to do, because now everybody has to go abroad to do this training, and you know, it really is a shame. So
beggars belief, Gavin, beggars belief that we got the best army in the world, no doubt. We got the best special units in the world. There's nobody better than us in the whole world. Don't care where you say. I live in America, and even they know it. They might not want to say it. Delta Force, SWAT team, their Navy SEALs, they know that our SBS, our SAS, our paratroop unit, our commandos are the best in the world. There is no better than these special units, and our surveillance is the best, and our technology is the best, and our intelligence is the best. But what really does me in is, if we're the best, why can't we get people to come over and train in special compounds and allow people to enjoy the luxury of shooting a proper weapon outside of a government line, like private coming over to enhance their skills as a professional coast protection operative? We don't. So that's where we do lose. And then they go to a different country, unless they got an instructor, a very good instructor, they're going to a different country and they're learning how to fire weapons wrong. You know, and instructors really are not up to scratch, and they actually don't train properly. They don't even speak English, some of them, and they're speaking to guys that have left the military after 22 years, and they're training them with no English language, with no range drills. The amount of ranges I've been to, and I've had to put SOPs in the range. I said, you know, because I'm NRA, you see. So the first thing you do as an NRA to get your instructor's award, you've got to do a SOP for that range.
Yeah, I remember.
Any ranges in Europe with SOPs, they're come on, they're muzzles facing this floor.
Oh.
Nobody knows where the nearest hospital is. There's no med pack. There's no AEDs there. Beggars belief.
Yeah, I've seen this once with I can't remember what country it was I went to. So I had a client that wanted to come over from the US to have training here in the UK, and he wanted to do some firearms training while we were over here, and I said we can't, but we can go. Oh, and I think we went over to Czech Republic. Anyway, I did a bit of shopping around, and I found one that was probably suitable, and I said, what we'll do, we'll go and watch this instructor do his course, and then afterwards I'll take you down the range and we'll learn a bit more. And we got into this room, and the first thing that the guy's done, everybody sat down. There's about probably 7 or 8 people in this class, and he's loaded up these pistols, actually put the magazines in, cocked them, and put them on the desk in front of everybody. I know, yeah, I was like, oh, are you kidding me? Cocked, loaded, and put them out before he's even said a word to anybody, and he's put them on the desk in front of everybody, and he's given the signal 1 minute, to say I'm going down the range, just put targets, and I'm thinking, oh dear. And I said, come on, we're going.
A sleeping pill to get a sleep tonight. Now you've got
sorry, Chris.
True. I've even seen people actually lift the pistol up and put it in the hands of people. They take it out, and I'm thinking, whew, this is wrong. This is wrong.
Yeah.
They don't do no checks of them. They don't know if they're mentally ill when they're on the range. They don't know if they're of a night of pills and hallucination drugs. You don't know. They're just turning up, shooting.
And I think the worst one I ever saw was actually there was 2 I saw on the internet, and the one guy, he was an instructor. He'd got a great big revolver or something, and he was demonstrating, and he accidentally fired it. There's a say accidental discharge, but there's no such thing as there really. He pulled the trigger. That was the problem. Made himself jump, and of course that was one. And then the second one was a guy where he put his hand in front of the pistol. He'd taken the magazine out, thinking he'd cleared it, and he put his hand in front of the pistol and shot a hole straight through his own hand. And I thought to myself, dear me, I mean, even if there wasn't a round in the chamber or whatever the case might, who on earth told him to put his hand in front of the pistol? I mean, what was it? What do you think he was going to catch it?
Well, I'm hoping no one did, because at worst, someone did. And that's at worst. Oh. We hope that these people have never been trained, but I'm going to be honest with you, going around the world so many times every single year, going to these ranges and seeing on the other side how they're training people. When I'm training my group, I'm like looking, I'm thinking, wow, the standards are so wrong. And you've got YouTube, you can reference it as a instructor if you, but no, it's just a job for them, and they don't care really. It's just money. This is what we're talking about: a commercial close protection or commercial firearms. It's no good, not for the professional bodyguard. Mm-hmm. If you want to do it recreation, you know, you've had a night out with the lads, you're in Bangkok and you just want to fire a few rounds down for whatever reason, I don't know. But people like to do it. They go to Vegas, they shoot. We used to do it at Ducks, didn't we? With
yeah.
But when you're a professional, and you are a professional, due diligence comes in, and that means that you already know that you want to be trained by the best. Mm. So when people say, I went to this academy, I always say, not ours, but another academy, which is notorious for just pushing people through. Mm-hmm. It's a toilet paper afterwards with a logo on. I always say, well, that tells me straight away you're probably not fit for the industry anyway. So when I come on my course, I'm a bit nervous that these people actually went on a course that all over their Google is, wrong. It's a wrong, and you still went on it. Why didn't you do your research? So already I'm thinking, do I want that person in my class? I don't look at it as a £2,500 or price tag. I look at him as disturbance of real people wanting to learn.
Yeah. And I have noticed that there's a lot of these internet arguments, which I read them. I never comment. I never engage. But it's so much fun to see the arguments that'll happen sometimes. You'll see, I don't know, a limo pulling up, and they'll open the door wide up, and all of a sudden there'll be 20 comments saying he shouldn't have opened the door, or he should have opened it a crack first, or he should have done this. And I'm thinking, you don't know the situation. You're not there. You can see one part of it. You can't see 360. You don't know what they've been asked to do. You don't know anything else. There could be a complete semicircle of bodies or a concrete wall there, as far as you know. So, and the arguments that end up going on the internet are absolutely crazy. And then if you look at these people's profiles, it gets funnier and funnier with some of the things that you think, oh dear.
I trained with some RMPs. In fact, I've got a brilliant RMP that works for me right now. He's a fantastic guy. But when they first come on my course, I asked them how do they do their M-Bus, D-Bus for government. Of course, I think Theresa May was there and something went wrong. I think stabbing on the bridge, and Theresa May run out to the car and got on, didn't know what car to get into. I don't know if you remember. But I said to them, and the David Cameron one, where the jogger hit the David Cameron and like bumped into him and everything was all wrong. So I said to them, so when you get out of the car, how do you open that door? So they open the door different from us. And the reason why that is because they've already got a secondary circle of security around. But guys on bikes, police on bikes, they've got that. We haven't. We're normally a 6 or 5 man team. Say for instance, we've got to arc over. We got to arc over and keep paparazzi away from all that. When you go to government level, the paparazzi are not even there anyway. They've been invited to come. So, we got to look after the dignity of the VIP, the secrets and the privacy of the VIP inside the vehicle. So when that door opens, either a lot of secrets and privacy comes out, and you've got to make sure it doesn't. So with us, and you know me with M-Bus and D-Bus, it's one of the highlights of me teaching people everything from the hinges to your neck, how your neck moves, what are you doing, what's the comms, HSL1 clear, 2 clear, PES 1 in position, boom, boom, boom. It's constant, constant, constant. If there's going to be a problem, it's when that door opens and before they get to the venue. So in all of the planning and prep for a pickup at an airport, bring the person back, it's only 3 or 4% of that whole 3 hours of travel. You've got 3 or 4% of when that door opens is the most dangerous and highlighted risk. So yes, we push a lot into the etiquette of opening the door, looming into them, not good. Your head should be looking at the VIP. And of course, you've got different levels of risk on that actual thing. Going back to what you said, when we open it this way, we open it that way, we should be here. No, it depends what the level of risk was. If it was medium, then of course you can open it in a different way. If it's high risk, you open it in a different way. If it's low risk, you open it in a different way. So the first thing is, what was the risk level? Yeah, that's what professionals would say when they're commenting. Do you mind me asking what was the risk level? And the operator for the training company will say, what is a medium level? Okay, that was good, but may I raise a comment on maybe he should have been looking behind him? That's how the comments should go, but you know as well as me, they don't.
No. Yeah, I've had, kind of people when I've put stuff on, posts on my own and so-called professionals, kind of arguing. You think, oh, please, just, just go and entertain yourself. So yeah, go on. Sorry.
The weapons as well. I mean, I always say to people, I've got grandchildren, and if I give them a plastic weapon with all the moving parts, they could put that weapon together and they could dismantle the weapon. And guess what? At 3 years old, they could clean it because there's only 7 parts. Now, people are making their life income through complicating a very simple process of pistol shooting. Shoot, fire. Yeah. Just aim it, shoot. That's fine. But that massive disturbance of, you can't hold it like this. When you undo it like this. And you're thinking, whoa, hang on a minute. You're talking about a jigsaw puzzle with 7 parts. Maybe only 3. But, if you want to really get into the actual trigger and the pin, you're going to 7. But when you're looking at, a bolt carrier, a bolt, a magazine, and the actual barrel itself, what child couldn't do that?
Yeah, so exactly.
I see these people, hey, look at it, when you get like that, I'm thinking, yep. And I might actually do a video of a 3-year-old doing the same thing. That's coming.
Yeah, you should definitely do that, actually. And I mean, going back to what you were saying there, I mean, you know yourself, you rang me with, and I hate celebrity work. I've had that many, yourself and other people ringing up. Can you look after so and so? Can you do? Because you're guaranteed pretty much every time you go out, you're going to get mobbed. Whether it's crazed fans, whether it's paparazzi, whatever. Give me a billionaire that nobody knows, or a nobody that nobody knows, in a Witsec case or something like that, all day long. But celebrity work, I personally can't stand it. So,
the problem as well. I think one of the royals, I think it was Harry or William, one of them walked up Oxford Street, and really he just put a cap on, and he didn't no one recognised him. Now you can imagine 3, 4 guys, black suits, earpieces. They don't care who is with the cap. The guys on like the pretend foot drills, up in London, we call it the final mission, and I tell them, this is what we're going to do first, and this is what we're going to do second. So my final missions are, you're going to get spruced up, you're going to look the part, you're going to look like the bodyguard, and there's going to be 4 of you around the VIP, there's going to be a team leader holding back. I said, now, you're going to do that, and you're going to take literally anybody in the middle of you. People in London will want an autograph. They don't care who it is. They want an autograph because they got enough money for bodyguards. Then what we're going to do in the afternoon, we're going to change the clothes, and you're going to dress down to a blazer, a pair of jeans, and you're going to have a covert earpiece, not the curly whirly, in Bluetooth. They didn't like that because they got no attention. I could see the overtly covert trying to bust out. It's like, oh, no one's looking at me. So you have that, you know, I want to be the bodyguard, and you're absolutely right. And with the VIPs, you've got VIPs that nobody knows because they've made it big in industry. You've got VIPs that have made it big in business, but then been on, say, Dragon's Dens or things like that. So they're really good to look after because you get the mix. And then you've got the big celebrity VIPs. Yeah. So, you know, you've only got to put their head out of a window and everybody will run over. You've got paparazzi chasing them everywhere. So you have got lots of elements of protection. Okay. So, yeah. And what one is the best? I don't know. I mean, I've done it all in these 35 years. And, you know, yeah, I'll be honest with you, I've done it all, and I wouldn't want to say what ones were the best. It's like a box of chocolates, you know. No one likes the Turkish Delight, really, do they?
Yeah, you caught me there, Chris. I wasn't expecting that one. I was actually thinking about, like, kind of usually, because like you got your billionaires, which is great because you know you've got whatever you need. If you need satellites, you've got them. If you need equipment, you've got it. If you need jets or whatever, you've got it. That's great. And especially if it's the billionaires that nobody knows, because you can just wander into town in your casual attire, do your job, and you're not going to get mobbed. Going back to what I was saying about the WITSEC, again, they're generally like the next ones. They're great to look after if they're in witness protection for whatever reason, in the sense of you can keep them out of the way, nobody recognizes them, but they also can be a pain in the rear end if I want to get out, and you say, no, you're not, you've got to stay here. And, you know, so I know they can be demanding at times. But yeah, I think in order for me, probably billionaire, WITSEC, and then probably celebrity be way down here.
Well, you do get really good food with the real wealthy, and I look after a lot of the Saudis, and you just get the best of everything. You live in 7-star, you're having your eggs Benedict every single morning, but you're having your filet steak, your Wagyu, most evenings. And this is where I just come from in America. And you just, you know, you're living the high life, but you're just a protection officer. But they will see you not eat, so they will demand that you eat. So, you know, and you're just eating, you know, the best of the best. You're in the 7-star hotels, 5-star plus hotels. You're skiing. You're doing everything. You're in these cars where you don't even know what way the doors open nowadays. Yeah, it's a life of luxury, but it's not yours. And I think, you know, that is the most perfect dream. I've had the luxury things, you know that, and always try to protect them. So when you've got a Lamborghini out there, you're going, you're always nervous. But when you got access to all these things as a professional protection officer, you don't actually want them in the end. You don't got them anyway, and you haven't got the insurance to go with it. You haven't got this to go with it. You've got access to these things. So a lot of my clients, they say, Chris, if you want to borrow this over the weekend, I'll take it. I kind of don't, but I mean, I could borrow nearly any car I wanted. But I don't. I prefer to just get in my truck, and which is nearly 20 years old, and I'm happy. Once you've done things in life, you don't need to go back on them.
Yeah.
Don't forget, we're dealing with generations that haven't done what we've done. So I'm saying about my generation. I mean, if you've reached 60 and you haven't really ticked most of your life ambitions off, then you've done something a little bit wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, very true. You actually, when you're on about the food there, you reminded me of something going back a few years. Not far from where I live now, there's a country manor, and I was called in to do residential security down there. Now the guy, it's his country home, it's his second home. He lives in London. He's got this country home in Dorset, and he's got residential security there 365 days a year. One of his staff were going on vacation for a couple of weeks, and they called me in to cover. And then the fella is something like 27th in line to the throne. He's royalty, and it sounds really impressive, but it's not as impressive as what it actually is. And so say it again.
That's a lot of assassinations.
It is, yeah. So a lot of people got to die before you get to sit on the throne. So so anyway, I was called in, and I did this 2 weeks cover temporary duty in this place, and I did the dusk shift. So you got the guys in the day were doing 6 a.m. till 6 p.m. Then I did 6 p.m. till midnight, and then the night shift come on at midnight to do till 6 in the morning. So I did that kind of 6 p.m. till midnight shift, and I remember getting there. You got to get there early for the handover, and I got there, and we done the handover. And while we're all about to start our shift, I'm waiting for the last shift and thinking, why are they still hanging around? And I said, that's it. You don't, you know, you can go home. They said, no, we're staying here. I said, why? They said the food's better.
Right.
So yeah, when you were talking about the food, that just reminded me of that.
Yeah, it's always food. We're men, so the food. Food is the second thing we love, isn't it?
Exactly. So, and again, I mean, I know you've had this with you know, some of the experiences that you've been through in the past, and you've had to kind of say to people, look, you know, your principal is your employer, is your boss, irrelevant to who they are. And this does happen, especially when you've got female celebrities. I mean, we know there are many instances where celebrities, pop stars, and that kind of thing have ended up, you know, sleeping with their bodyguard, or even kind of having a relationship with their bodyguard. But what the problem is, and what a lot of them don't realize, is when she spits you up and chews you out, you've not only lost your girlfriend, but you've lost your career as well, because you know you're not going to get employed again by anybody else, because they're going to go, well, we know he sleeps with the client.
Well, you know, I used to run a honey trap company as well. I've been through quite a few things. I was one of the top honey trappers 15 years ago. So, you know, but when I was younger, at 25, probably at the height of my best looks and, you know, the sculptured body that you get, being a bodyguard for females, which probably 80% of my clients were females. And it did get difficult, and it is difficult. I mean, it is difficult because they see you as their protector. They see you're a good-looking guy who looks after their self. You've got a good intelligence level as well. You're not just and you know, and you interact with them as well. They see you've got charisma, and that's a problem. You know,
yeah.
Good charisma, good looks, good body. Not me. I'm just saying.
I was about to say, oh, thank you.
Sometimes it's, you know, sometimes you prefer to be that, you know, non-entity, just a protection. But, you know, it's very hard when you pick this industry. And if you pick it and you are, you know, a Ronaldo-looking kind of person, you're going to come to a client that wants to sleep with you. End of story. They could still be married. The husband probably kill you and get a whole team of, or probably ring up one of my teams to put you in the ground. But the thing is, you will succumb to temptation, and I can only tell the viewers that nothing really good comes out of it, because you can go next door and get the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Be tempted with your career and not working in the industry in that circle of people. You remember Beyonce and people thought theirs, and I've had it to me as well. Chris must have slept with you. No, I didn't actually. But the thing is, even if you don't, people still think you do, and it just the family life a little bit, and you have to say, look, I'm out of it. So I'd always say to anybody who's got that temptation, just go to Bangkok for a week.
Yeah, because like you say, you know, it's not just the way they view you in the sense of, you know, you're their protector, you're switched on, you're there for them literally, but you know, you're also there in all the highs and the lows of their life. You're there at the greatest parts, the lowest parts, and so there's so much of an emotional attachment. There's so much going on psychologically as well as physically, you know, and if they get a few drinks, and again, like you say, if it's something where their husbands hired you to look after their wife, you know, then, you know, there's a lot more at risk than, you know, kind of.
Many of tears have fallen on my lap from clients that can't understand something, and, you know, maybe their father's totally loaded and they can't understand why their father doesn't give them that. And I'm a father, I'm a big family, and I can normally answer some of those questions for them. But I still got to be careful how I answer them. Before I open my mouth, my brain engages, it holds back, and if it comes to it, I'm not going to be there like a zombie and not talk to them. And I'm going to tell them a story from one of my files of why I wouldn't give something to my daughter when I was a millionaire, because that wouldn't have helped them stronger in mind. And maybe that thing that you give them, there would always be in their mind, if it wasn't for daddy, I wouldn't be here. So they try to take, you know, you try to take that, you put it in them, and you try to make them tougher. Yeah, that's happened a lot. That's happened a lot. That is why they don't just give their sons and daughters things. They want to make it hard.
Yeah, I mean, look, you know, that's the other side of this. You know, so many people don't see. It's not just about standing around looking for threats. It's about that whole diplomacy. You know, when the client or the person you're looking after is kind of, you know, asking questions, and you can't just take sides and kind of, you know, it's a very difficult position to be in at times.
Become a mediator, knowing it, and not really paid on the side for that either. But the pay is good enough. I'll let that go. But you know, the mediator invoices should have come out. But yeah, to mediate between a man and a woman who've been together for a long time and thinking of splitting because of he's maybe all business, and that inspired me to actually open up a company called CRS, which was Consumer Recreational Services, and we instill some of these scenarios in there to stop people from losing what they actually love. So it's reminding them that they're going to lose something, and we want to show them what they've lost before they lose it. And that's CRS, still going on.
Oh, well, that's brilliant. So, so what we're doing, we're coming up to the top of the hour, and I'm aware of your time is very, very valuable. I know how much you get paid by the hour. I'm not going to share that one though. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wrap it up now, Chris. With, you know, obviously, thanks for joining us. Where can people find you? Where's the best place to go, website wise, or that kind of thing, to be able to look at some of the other stuff you do?
Well, we're 22 years old now, so you should be able to put UCP Group in, and we should be all over the place. But for if you doesn't, it's www.ucp-group.com, and it's all there.
Fantastic. That's absolutely brilliant. And is there anything else before we go that I've kind of missed and should have asked, or do you think we've covered a good enough time for now?
Basics, but I'll updated if I've got any humorous scenes that are going to come up sooner or later. But no, we've covered the basics, and hopefully we come back on your show.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'd love to have you back on. And well, you know, I love watching the comments on this. So when this goes live, what I'll do is I'll send you a link over. If you can be in the chat as well, if people are asking questions, you know, they might be able to ask, "Oh, where can I come for this?" or tell us about that story, and then yeah, get you back on again and tell a few more stories from the field.
And congratulations on your book as well. Okay.
Oh, thank you.
And that's Foxman. That's you know, to be an author of such a good book as well. So yeah, that's really good. So I would advise everybody to read that book.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you, Chris. Much appreciated. Yeah. Yeah. I'll write the check afterwards. Okay. Thanks again, and thank you to everybody who joined us.